Hello and welcome to How to Deal with Grief and Trauma. My name is Nathalie Himmelrich. How to Deal with Grief and Trauma is completely self-funded, produced and edited by me, Nathalie Himmelrich. Consider making a small donation to support the podcast. Go to bit.ly/support, capital G, capital T, and podcast. I repeat, bit.ly/supportgt podcast. Thank you so much. And for more information, please visit Nathalie's website, join the podcast Instagram page, and subscribe to the newsletter to receive updates on future episodes. Hello, beautiful listeners. Today's episode is different. It's not an interview, and not a solo deep dive, and also not a practical guide. As I was writing this episode yesterday, I took a moment to celebrate. I took a pause and a moment to look back on 3 years, over 100 episodes, and 60,000 downloads, and to say thank you. From the very first episode, this podcast was born from a quiet but powerful place in my heart, a desire to help, to reach more than just my clients, those who are navigating the deep, uncharted waters of grief, loss, and trauma. I had no idea where this would go. Having read the statistics that most podcasters stop after 5 to 7 episodes, I just went along on a steep learning curve on how to record, edit, and publish. I started humbly, just with a microphone, a vision, and a heart full of stories and people that I wanted to talk to. I had no idea that one day someone across the world would be sitting in a couch or walking in the forest, tears in their eyes, and listening to something they didn't even know they needed, and feeling, finally, I'm not alone. I've had plenty of people writing me messages where I was touched by how this podcast had supported them. Something I couldn't even imagine in my wildest imagination. 3 years in, I still find myself in awe. In awe of what happens when we create space for grief. I'm in awe of the bravery of my guests, parents, partners, therapists, survivors, grandmothers, each one offering a piece of their truth, sometimes through trembling voices, and sometimes with powerful clarity. In awe of you, the listeners who keep coming back, who write to me, and who share episodes with their communities or their friends in need, who sit with these conversations like sacred offerings. What you might not know is that the podcast is at the core of my life's work. I love podcasting. I love talking to people. It's also a thread that connects so many of my clients I work with, some of whom have heard something on this show that resonated so deeply they reached out for support, and some of whom have later shared their voices on this very platform. So it's like a full circle, it's a connection, and this is where healing begins. So today I'd like to share a few reflections, and I want to speak directly to a few people. To the grieving parent who tuned in during a sleepless night, heart aching for the child they lost. Or the trauma survivor who listened in secret, wondering if they were allowed to feel what they feel. To the friend or family member who wanted to better understand a loved one's pain. And to the helpers and healers, the professionals who've joined me to share wisdom and to bear witness. Thank you. Your presence here is not passive, it's powerful. It creates a ripple that touches people's lives. there are moments that have left a deep imprint on me. Like the mother who spoke of celebrating her daughter's birthday every year, even a decade later. Or the man who found language for his childhood trauma for the very first time through our conversation. And the therapist who opened up about her own grief, breaking the illusions that helpers are somehow immune. Every story matters. Everyone has deepened this tapestry. So many of you have reached out saying, that episode helped me cry for the first time, or I finally understood that what I was feeling wasn't crazy, and that I wasn't alone in that. For me, these are not just numbers like downloads or statistics. These are moments of awakening, of permission, of new breath, new air, new life. What has started small has become something much bigger than me. And I truly believe that's because this show is led by something deeper, a calling. I've learned that grief doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be seen, to be heard, to be witnessed. Trauma doesn't vanish with time, but with tenderness, with truth, and with connection, with togetherness. And that healing isn't linear. It spirals, it dances, it weaves. And it's okay to meet yourself wherever you are. As I look ahead into the 4th year, I feel a quiet but strong commitment to continue, to hold space, to listen, to keep the conversations real, to bring in voices that challenge, soothe, inspire, and reflect. There are so many more stories to tell, more tools to share, more healing to invite. So if this podcast has touched you in any way, consider sharing it. Consider leaving a review, or just take a quiet moment of gratitude for your own journey. You've come far too. And for those of you still in the thick of grief or trauma, please know there is no timeline. There is no right way. And you are not alone. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for trusting me, this space, these stories. And thank you for allowing me to walk this path with you. Here's to the next 100 and more episodes, to the next 60,000 moments of connection, and to the healing that happens in all of these moments where we dare to speak the unspeakable. So with all my heart, I'm grateful, I'm honored, and I'm here. Thanks for listening to How to Deal with Grief and Trauma. If you'd like to be updated on future episodes, please subscribe to my newsletter on nathaliehimmelrich.com. If you need grief support, please contact me for a 30 minutes free discovery session. How to Deal with Grief and Trauma is produced and edited by me, Nathalie Himmelrich. To support this podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe to or follow the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you. And remember to keep breathing. I promise it will get easier.